which is meant to be elegant, complete, and appropriate to some social or public occasion; as full dress, court dress, evening dress, etc. Dress has now largely displaced apparel and attire. Garb denotes the clothing characteristic of some class, profession, or the like, as the garb of a priest. Costume is chiefly used for that which befits an assumed character, as a theatrical costume. We sometimes speak of a national costume, etc. Antonyms: bareness, disarray, dishabille, exposure, nakedness, nudity, undress. Drive. Synonyms: compel, impel, propel, push, repel, repulse, resist, ride, thrust, urge on. To drive is to move an object with some force or violence before or away from oneself. It is the direct reverse of draw, lead, etc. A man leads a horse by the halter, drives him with whip and rein. One may be driven to a thing or from it. Hence drive is a synonym equally for compel or for repel or repulse. Repulse is stronger and more conclusive than repel. One may be repelled by the very aspect of the person whose favour he seeks, but it is not repulsed except by the direct refusal or ignoring of his suit. A certain conventional modern usage, especially in England, requires us to say that we drive in a carriage, ride upon a horse, though in Scripture we read of riding in a chariot. 2 Kings 9:16, Jeremiah 17:25, etc. Good examples of the same usage may be found abundantly in the older English. The propriety of a person saying that he is going to drive when he is simply to be conveyed in a carriage where someone else, as the coachman, does all the driving, is exceedingly questionable. Many good authorities prefer to use ride in the older and broader sense, as signifying to be supported and borne along by any means of conveyance. Compare banish, compel, influence. Antonyms: see synonyms for draw. Prepositions: drive to market, to despair, drive into exile, from one's presence, out of the city, drive by, with, or under the lash, drive by or past beautiful estates, along the beach, beside the river, through the park, across the field, around the square, to the door, into the barn, out of the sunshine. Duplicate. Synonyms: copy, counterpart, facsimile, imitation, likeness, replica, reproduction, transcript. A copy is as nearly like the original as the copyist has power to make it. A duplicate is exactly like the original. A carbon copy of a typewritten document must be a duplicate. We may have an inaccurate copy, but never an inaccurate duplicate. A facsimile is like the original in appearance. A duplicate is the same as the original in substance and effect. A facsimile of the Declaration of Independence is not a duplicate. A facsimile of a key might be quite useless. A duplicate will open the lock. A counterpart exactly corresponds to another object, but perhaps without design, while a copy is intentional. An imitation is always thought of as inferior to the original, as an imitation of Milton. A replica is a copy of a work of art by the maker of the original. In law, a copy of an instrument has in itself no authority. The signatures, as well as other matters, may be copied. A duplicate is really an original, containing the same provisions and signed by the same persons, so that it may have, in all respects, the same force and effect. A transcript is an official copy, authenticated by the signature of the proper officer, and by the seal of the appropriate court. While strictly there could be but one duplicate, the word is now extended to an indefinite number of exact copies. Reproduction is chiefly applied to living organisms. Antonyms: archetype, model, original, pattern, prototype. Duty. Synonyms: accountability, business, function, obligation, office, responsibility, right, righteousness. Etymologically, duty is that which is owed or due. Obligation, that to or by which one is bound. Right, that which is correct, straight, or in the direct line of truth and goodness. Responsibility, that for which one must answer. Duty and responsibility are thought of as to some person or persons. Right is impersonal. One's duty may be to others or to himself. His obligations and responsibilities are to others. Duty arises from the nature of things. Obligation and responsibility may be created by circumstances, as by one's own promise, or by the acceptance of a trust, etc. We speak of a parent's duty, a debtor's obligation, or of a child's duty of obedience, and a parent's responsibility for the child's welfare. Right is that which accords with the moral system of the universe. Righteousness is right incarnated in action. In a more limited sense, right may be used of what one may rightly claim, and so be the converse of duty. It is the creditor's right to demand payment, and the debtor's duty to pay. Compare business. End of section 23. Recording by Nicholas James Bridgewater.